This is an interesting question based on what's happening.
Which one?
The black and just being black in America right now.
In what ways has Black American history influenced how you understand yourself and your place in the world?
Black woman or a Black person in America, well, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain
Hmm.
because if you're Black, like it's automatically ingrained like within you. I don't know, almost like imprinting that you have to find a way to fit in within a certain mold or a certain box. You know how you're viewed. You know what you're going to experience. You know that you're going to face oppression, and it's just the culture. Black people have to learn how to make white people comfortable. White people have never really had to. I'm saying this for myself, from my own opinion. White people really never had to go out of their way to try to get to know another culture, ethnicity, and or race. Because honestly, here in America, I mean, if it's not white, it's not right. So that's not just what Black American history's taught me. That's just what, honestly, is what we see still today. Um, in a sense. But also, Black American history taught me that we are resilient, and we're just that strong, um, and capable, uh, that people have to attack you or antagonize you or try to put you down or discredit you, what have you. Or just because you may just be different. I don't know. But Black American history, I think honestly, when I think about just Black American history, for myself personally, it taught me that I can do anything.
I feel like for me, I was taught to do better because for me as a Black woman, it won't come easy for me. So like I always have to like do well in school, do well in sports. So like I feel like that kind of like put a lot on me growing up. Just like just have to like be stressful of school and like just sports in general or just life in general, I'll say.
Like overachievement.
Yes, overachieving, yes.
I feel like I have to be a little bit more cheerful and uppity when I'm around my white coworkers. Um, but I think that and the way I dress too. I'm a little curvier, so just being mindful of like, and that is genetics. I feel like with Black women that we're just a little bit more curvier. We carry weight a little differently, and like just being mindful of like the clothes that I wear. Like I can't wear the same thing that my coworker may be able to wear just because they're a little smaller and their hips don't move the same way that mine's do.
I think
So
the history really affected me growing up because I wasn't privy to the history. Like there was a lot that I'm still learning every day about stuff that we were never taught.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I also see it as inspiring and also see it as empowering because it's like, yes, we have come so far, but we're not there yet. Like for me, like I took this screenshot yesterday and
Bring
like,
the facts.
yeah, I just like I'm so fascinated by certain things. And like this was a doctor, Tamia Potter. She's the first Black woman neurosurgery resident at Vanderbilt University in Tennessee. And I'm like, it's 2025, and you're telling me she's the first Black woman to ever do that. Like, we're still getting first. And to me, as inspiring as that is, it's like, it's 2025.
Right.
Like, why is she the first one? I'm so happy for her, and I'm ecstatic that we broke that barrier, but why is that the first one?
And why is it a barrier? Like, I feel
Right.
like I'm about that class.
Is for starters, it's a lot of self-reflection within myself. And what I mean by that is, slavery wasn't but 100 years ago, 160 years ago when it ended, as you stated earlier. So with that being said, there's still a lot of things that are still arising out of that I feel do affect us as a Black population. So what I try to do is, although I go throughout my day-to-day day for myself, is I try to not forget, but also to work through understanding and acknowledging that I'm not alone.
Yeah, but I think that again, that helps to shape sometimes like how just per history, how I've maybe seen myself or maybe how I've interpreted how the world sees us is that lots of muting, lots of silencing. And if you don't have like I was just blessed with family that loves to story tell and like to give narratives and like my grandfather would sit at a table and say, all right, children, you're gonna hear me say this story. And I could probably repeat it now just verbatim, just because of how many times we heard it. But not everyone has had that opportunity.
Yeah, not me. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think lots of how we understand, especially as being in Black, like Black Americans, it's sometimes hard because I do think that maybe other cultures may have their spaces, but I think even with us being Black in America, even though we have made community, it still seems as if there's no space. But again, that's not true. I know that. But from growing up, sometimes I felt like there was no space for us, specifically without discrimination, without extreme rules, without don't do this, don't say that, don't like there's a lot less freedom, even though there is freedom.
There's barriers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you had the chance to share your story with people who are not a part of your race, culture, or community, what would you want them to know or understand about your experience or your family's experience?
That my grandmother came up during the 50s and 60s, and she did not have much education. Um, she was a caregiver, but with each generation that came after her, what her and those people did in those years to make sure that myself and my mother and my children and my children's children have a better present day and future than they had, the things that they had to endure. I don't want myself or my children or my children's children to have to endure them, because we've learned that what you do now affects the next 7 generations. So in order to not have these generational curses or, you know, trauma, um, we should work on ourselves.
But what I would want them to know about my family is that we're resilient. That we have issues just like any other American family. But we don't share similar barriers than other families. And that had impact on who I am today.
Yes.
Fighting to get educated in a good school.
Yes.
Mom working 80 hours to send me to private school, right? Because she didn't have any education at the high school, right? So those things I think are important when you think about how I arrived here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't think like that. They don't think about the first woman. Like I can only imagine her story, her family story, because of being in America as a Black family and now having a daughter who's a doctor, right?
Right.
My mom wasn't even here to see me become a doctor. I don't think she imagined it. Her goal was to make sure I was safe.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be what I would want to share. We are resilient. We're like any other family, but we have barriers that you possibly didn't have, particularly when I think about the white race. Yeah.
That's good.
Not the Jim Crow and segregation, civil rights. That was less than 60 years ago. My mother was a product of that. Going through school, she was one of the first African American kids in 1963 in North Carolina that integrated into a school. So hearing her stories and how that affected her growing up, in terms of her remembering, she has a lot of resilience with it, but it's more the case to where the education piece is really important, because believe it or not, that what helps drive me throughout my day to day. Knowing that it happened, knowing that we're advocating for social justice to come together to avoid this from happening, because it's, not only am I a Black African American, I'm also a woman. So there's other things adding on to that oppression that we have been experiencing for so long. So a big part of that within myself is definitely self-reflecting, understanding where I come from, and the generational trauma from the past that has built up through my family, overcoming that generational trauma. Some of my generations in my family don't believe in therapy, but knowing that I went through it and how it helped me overcome, that's something to where now I could start the next generation of me continue on in my family to get that to help with continue to build on that resilience and to build on that reflection within ourselves.
Spend time on what it feels like and the impact of shrinking and why people do that. Like I know we talked about safety. Like I think that's a big piece of, for me at least, when I see people, they just don't get it. Like they don't understand why certain groups of people, specifically Black people, won't do certain things or won't go certain ways. They don't understand that. And they don't understand the consequences aren't just, oh, they might not like that. Like we're talking about people losing their lives because they're doing certain things or saying certain things. And I don't think other people really get the severity of that. And I think I would want them to know what it feels like to not, or to go somewhere and not be able to say certain things or do certain things or feel like you can't. And even if you do, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then you're like eating yourself up because you're not sure if you're going to be safe or you're not sure if that came across the wrong way and maybe your livelihood's at jeopardy. Maybe your job's at jeopardy. Like, I don't think that other people really get that. And that's, I would really want to like hone in on like the feelings of feeling like you have to shrink just to survive or get through.
So in my previous work experience, I was in business. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody even knew I had kids. I literally like I would just joke and play like, oh, you know, but I knew not to bring my personal business in. I knew the moment that they found out, they were going to doubt me, question me, this, that, and all these other things are going to be applied. And of course, lo and behold, it did happen. But it didn't, stop me. But it made me realize, hey, I need to just keep kind of to myself. And then when you begin to tell some things, people will automatically place their feelings on you. So, for example, this year, I tasted for the first time in my life the very soft, passive aggressive bigotry of low expectations.
Wow.
And I don't think I've ever had anything hurt me like that before. But I'm glad I experienced it. And, but for a while, I wasn't even going to do this. Because I know better. I know to just sit down and be quiet and don't tell your business, don't say nothing, lay low, it's too much happening. But also, I still have a personal fire within me. So I know that you're not supposed to tell your personal story, which is why I've been kind of personally stepping out there and telling a little bit more of my story. Even though I really don't want to or care to or any of that. But I feel like we kind of have to start doing little small things. But I also still know that I'm always going to be kind of afraid in a sense because I know that I'm going to receive different consequences than other people. Yeah.
Just realizing like we're human just like any other race. Like we just have a different complexion and that's it. Like we're just different just because of our color and that's it. But I just feel like just going off of like protection, we've just been taught to do certain things with law, not say or just comply and that's it. So we won't get harmed. Just so we can just go back to our families and just live a normal life.
Yeah.
But I'd probably just say that. I don't know why people who of other colors fear us so much. I don't know why, but it is very annoying and just very just heartbreaking. But we're just humans at the end of the day. We still have a heart. We have the same we still have the same amount of livers, heart, like we're just just average people, but I don't know why.
What do you feel is the most challenging part of being Black in America while trying to heal from generational trauma?
The most challenging part for myself being Black in America, I mean, I have to reach into intersectionality immediately. I'm a Black single mother, working, just there's a lot of different boxes to fit into. So there's a lot of different things to consider. But The most challenging part, I'd say, is considered, or just knowing that regardless of how amazing you know you are, or regardless of whatever, you could, regardless of anything, knowing that in the back of your mind, you know that you still live within a society that that genuinely believes that you are at the bottom of the totem
I
pole.
would want them not only just to know, but to also understand that this is something that is very, very traumatic to our race. It's very traumatic to the generations before us and those who are coming out of the oppression and coming out of slavery and coming out of the civil rights movement, and that travels on to us. Um, my mother still, like I said, mentioned earlier, still being and having memories of all of those stuff. She has memories of her mother and grandfather. Sorry, her mother and father, and some of her grandparents, just as her mother and father has memories of their grandmother and grandfathers. So those memories and those experiences are shared to us through our generation. And it's not shared to us as far as to, talk bad about a certain population or a certain,
Sure.
family or the case may be. It's to give us that awareness to be like, look, the world is changing. I agree, but there's still some out there with
This
this.
person also made a good point, and I don't know how y'all feel about it, but they said actual slavery is white history and our ability to get out of it is Black history.
Yes.
And I think that was so profound.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they want to erase it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's their history. It's their ancestors' history of what they've done to other humans.
Yes. And how we overcame it is ours.
Yeah.
As a Black community, what obstacles do we continue to encounter that are often overlooked or not taken into account by broader society or institutional systems?
Where should I start? I'll start with the healthcare system, being that I myself am a breast cancer survivor. Um, Statistically, our outcomes are worse than any other race, Black women. And you may think, of course, women, but no, men get breast cancer as well. Statistically, we're worse off. We seek treatment later, but even had we sought treatment sooner, they're not doing those routine tests. They're not calling us like they're calling our other counterparts. Like if you miss an appointment, they're not reaching out to us to say, "Hey, you missed this appointment. Let's get you rescheduled." Our treatments should be the same. They should be laid out. Not. We're still less likely to be taken serious with our issues, not complaints, because we have issues. We're not taking it serious, and then we finally are heard. Sometimes it's too late. We're getting misdiagnosed at a higher rate.
I think a lot of things has been overlooked. For starters, profiling. I think that is very overlooked. Someone can have a name on a job application if it sounds, profound, or like as in if it sounds like a minority's name, then, you know, depending on that could be an issue. So profiling is definitely, or let's say that it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm walking in a black hoodie somewhere. Was people not raise suspicion? Not everyone. Not everyone, you know what I mean? But just going off of, again, what was mentioned earlier when it comes down to us being African Americans, the oppression of it. It's been so much in the past that has happened that got us to where we're at now, to where there is a lot of change and growth from the back then, but there's still signs of it now highlighting up to where that, again, trauma. You cannot speak on the African American community without trauma somehow being a part of our belief, our feelings, our advocacy, our social justice when it comes down to this topic. So profiling is definitely one. I think also as well too, you mentioned institutional, and there's a lot of studies where it is being brought up that children in the juvenile system, okay, they do studies and research about the mothers and fathers. Cool. They'll do research about the statistics of things. In the institution itself, I'm just going to bring up, say, I think that the system is low-key failing us as well. There's a lot of resources and services out there with those who are incarcerated that can be brought up and can be helped, but it's more the case to where once you're a criminal, they see you as a criminal as always. Got a felony, whether it's a severe felony or a light felony, you have a felony forever. Right now, you are going to be a felony forever. We want to take some of your rights away as a citizen, and then we're going to put you back in society. No connection to resources, no connection to services, and we expect you to go ahead and live your life, the rest of your life, into society, and hope you get a job. Hope you get whatever you need to survive, and you're good to go. Is that ethical? In our community, you know what I mean? Those are questions right there that is arose in this. Another thing is
work, I have a coworker, well, she's not a coworker, she's a classmate from UNCW with less experience than myself, making more money than I am. And is it because she's white? I don't know.
Comes into question.
It does. 15 years of experience that I have over the 1 year of internship experience that she had.
Wow. Why do you think many Black Americans are hesitant to enter therapy spaces or share personal stories? What do you feel contributes to this hesitation?
Specifically as a Black woman, like, I just feel like there's a stigma that we have to have it all together, that we have to figure it out, that we have, like, we're the people that figure it out. That's the stigma. So why would I need to go to someone else? Like, I feel like people just don't think that they need it because they're expected, like, they have expectations, whether it be from their family, their peers, their coworkers, that, like, well, you have it all together, like, you're fine.
So, for example, if I'm in a room full of people and I'm like, hoo, I bet you every Black person is gonna turn around and look at me.
Yes.
I mean, they're just gonna, or any other race, no one else might catch that. But there's certain things that might be translated in a certain way, or that are unable to be translated. So you want to be understood. So I don't want to go to my therapist and begin by teaching you to understand me. Like, not to understand me, but like making you comfortable with something that's different than you and what you expect.
And I just feel like growing up, my parents, like my dad especially, I don't know why, but he never trusted therapists. Or he just felt like we didn't need therapists because we could just talk to each other.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's been proven, it's been statistically proven that Black women don't get the exact care that they're supposed to get when they go to the doctors. And I think it is because of people's own personal biases, even in the field of, like, you're a strong Black woman, so you can handle this, you know what I mean? And or you're a strong Black woman, you're fine. But it's like, no, like, I came to you because I'm not feeling well and I need you to do the thing that my insurance pays you for. So, like, yeah.
People of color are not treated equally. So when you go to seek services and you already feel and know in certain cases that you're not going to be treated properly or the same as your white counterparts, it makes you not want to go seek help. So you don't. And then also being Black, historically, we don't go seek, mental health services or go to the hospital or doctors until things have gotten worse.
Because we don't trust the systems.
Correct, because we've been mistreated, abused, misused, thrown away, neglected.
Yeah. And you think that's still true now, to where we as Black Americans don't go into a treatment maybe as quickly compared to other races and spaces? Do you think that contributes?
Yes, I've seen the statistics, and we've been in the healthcare field for about 15 years now. I can honestly see that people coming in the office or their lack of coming in the office.
I think that what y'all said is true though. Like, I wouldn't go to a therapist either. Like, when you sit and think about it, like, that's that logical part about Black folk.
Yeah.
Like, why would I go somewhere when I know they don't really like me or understand me? So I think, but then I thought about it as a form of protection too, why people don't go. I always think about the church. Everything goes back to the Black church with me, even though I'm not affiliated with a Black church. But I think that historically they wanted to serve in that role. Right. Because it seemed like it was a little bit more safe, you know. Yeah. So and I honestly wonder how we could do more marketing around it. I mean, it's a new idea for most Black Americans. Well,
How can clinicians who are not a part of the Black community support clients who are of the Black community?
Speak up and quit being scared to speak up, because we feel like every time we speak up, nothing happens. There is something, you can't keep your mouth quiet. We got to continue fighting and talking and fighting about it. Not everything needs to be an argument. Not everything needs to be a debate. Just you speaking up. One voice is great, but 1,000 voices is better. And that's just my opinion on it. Like we got to stick together.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going off that, that's initially what I was thinking, is just like, it's like the continuing ed, but it's not enough to like take a class and feel like you can do it. Like you need to, like, if that's a population that you want to support, I think you need to spend the time and the research and do it, and not just research about like how do I help my clients, but Black American history. Like you need to know what's going on, and not just like if it's a diagnosis and how you can help someone who's Black and has that diagnosis. Like it's deeper than that. You need to be able to understand what that diagnosis means to them as a Black person and how they have to navigate that. Right. Yeah.
Don't talk about it, be about it, be an advocate for your clients, show up for them, truly be concerned and want to help them, know where they've come from and know that their experience will not be the same as yours because where they come from. So just be patient, understanding, be willing to make them feel seen and heard, because a lot of times we're not.
Yeah, but to understand how to correct the future, you must understand what happened in the past. And that's pretty much the whole projection of everything. You can't just go around waking up one day as a Caucasian, for instance, and say, hey, I'm gonna help them beat social justice. I'm gonna go out there and help those who are oppressed. If you don't know our background, you may do more harm to our culture rather than healing our culture. So that's just something to where, yeah, I would definitely let them know, hey, this is what I went through. But also, I need you to also understand this is why we are the way we are as a culture. This is why we are so resilient when it comes down. This is why we're so passionate when we're trying to protect our ancestors, protect those figures throughout our generation that was in, such as Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr. We protected those figures because those figures made a big, jump of changing our past to help us get to where we are today. So it's just more of a basis to where you can know all you want, but you also need to have that understand portion too. You will not be able to try your best to understand something if you're not knowing specifically the facts and what's going on. And that's just like the major summary of your question that you were asking.
I have a BSW and an MSW, and I'm trained clinically. And part of the ethical piece is if you don't have what you need to support your clients, you should not be practicing with them. Okay. Right. So my therapist now, like, we had a conversation before she even allowed me to make an appointment. Like, what are your needs? What are some things going on to ensure that this will be a good fit?
So assessment.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy fix. You can't go to a training. Like, if you're not qualified, you need to take the time to do that. Okay. And that takes time. That's not something you just, say, oh, I'm gonna do a training like this beautiful training. I know it will be. And then I'm able to work with families. It's like really getting invested from a social work perspective, enmeshed in the population to better understand. Yeah. But I think it's unethical to practice if you feel like you can't navigate some of their issues.
Okay. How's that response?
Don't use the cookie cutter approach, because that one size doesn't fit all.
add this because I hope this goes on, but because we talk about trauma so much, but we don't talk about how we continuously navigate it. And I think that's what makes us very special as a people. But I do think that we should pay more homage to where we actually came from, which is the continent, and how our ancestors bought those survival skills that you're referring to, the Harriet Tubmans, anyone that survived slavery, and anyone who survived the plantation experience. My great-grandfather was a slave, right? Enslaved, excuse me. But we have to think about the fact that we didn't just wake up like that in America. Like the survival of trauma came from the continent, right? So while we were enslaved, we also still had our minds. And I love when you talked about your grandfather sitting you at the table, because we don't talk about this and telling those stories. The reason why we understand survival the way we do is because of our ancestors that came from Africa, making sure those stories were passed on to other enslaved Africans to ensure it continued. And no one talks about that. Like we survived. Yeah, we survived because of our ancestors on the continent, whether they went to Haiti, right? Whether they went to Jamaica, whether they came to America. I went to Africa and I could not believe the connections. It was scary. I was like, oh, we do that. You know what I mean? I was like, wait a minute.
That's where it originated.
This feels familiar. You know. Now it took a while to eat my hands, but I have been colonized. Now I'll shut up.
We've been that way. We've been ignored for centuries.
Let's get started.
You can't. Yep. Shut me up. Yep.
You don't understand. It's like, oh, well, it happened 160 years ago, get over it. Okay, if that's how you feel, if you lose a family member or something 20 years ago that still affects you, should we tell you to get over it? Because to me, that is the same aspect of our generational trauma compared to your trauma.
But in terms of your systems or your ideologies or your culture, whatever, you're still carrying that. So, anyway, all right.
They're carrying power.
They're carrying power.
They don't want to let it go.
And that feels like a threat.
We are a threat. I just saw somebody said that brilliantly. We are the threat. Nicole Hannah Jones, I don't know if y'all know her, but you better know her. 1619 Project. We are the threat. She actually was at the university too before this administration.
You said vulnerability. I'll say this, like, and especially as being a black woman, I get the stereotype, oh, you gotta be a strong black woman, strong black woman, strong black woman. Well, obviously I have to be, but I kind of do have to be strong though, because I do kind of face different obstacles and different challenges. So I do have to kind of be equipped with a different level of strength.
I could use it everywhere. Schools everywhere, minorities. Like, are we really minorities?
I'm gonna have to sit with that. That's good.
That's real.
I mean, are we really minorities though? Like, let's be real. You've got the Black, Asian, Hispanic, Samoan. You have all of these races considered minorities other than Caucasians. If you add all of our cultures together that is considered minority, will we not be majority over Caucasians? So to me, minority is just putting us in another box to try to stigmatize us and to try to label us as
for me, it's just really empowering.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.